up here. Good morning, everyone. You all ready? Enrique, come on, let's get cozy. I'd like to welcome our friends and partners who are gathered here today at this beautiful Sophie Maxwell building. Supervisor, I love this building. I was here a couple months ago to open this building, and I'm proud to be standing here today along some incredible leaders who want to do more of this for our city. I am thrilled to welcome Senator Adam Schiff here today. Thank you for representing California and for your commitment to building affordable housing here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And, of course, I'd like to recognize the namesake for the building, former District 10 Supervisor Sophie Maxwell. I'd also like to, I know Rudy Gonzalez is here from the building trades. Rudy, thank you for being here. It's good to see you. Now, here in San Francisco, we know that we have an affordability crisis. We need to build more housing for our workers and our families so that they can stay in the city that they call home. This is exactly what the Housing Boom Act will do. This act focuses on building affordable housing for families and workers, increasing funding for programs that support our most vulnerable residents, and revitalizing underused spaces for housing and for critical services. The investment that the Housing Boom Act would bring to San Francisco are invaluable, and I'm proud to support Senator Schiff's initiative to improve housing and development in San Francisco and across California. I've spoken with Senator Schiff, and I know he will work with our labor partners closely to strengthen this bill as it begins to move through the legislative process. In San Francisco, we are doing our part. This week, I am proud to say the Board of Supervisors passed our family zoning plan. This plan updates our zoning map so that we can plan for more housing for our teachers, first responders, and most importantly, the next generation of San Franciscans. Everyone behind me today understands the moment that we are in. This is a major step forward. We know we have to act, and there is still more work to be done. I want to thank Senator Schiff, and I want to send my best regards to Congresswoman Simon for introducing this legislation and ensuring that federal support continues to help strengthen San Francisco and our California residents. We are proud to have you, Senator, and our great Congresswoman representing California, and we look forward to your continued partnership and success. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the Senator of California, Adam Schiff.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so much. Thank you for your extraordinary leadership of the city. When the mayor and I got together about a year ago, I said I was looking forward to the day when I would read a headline here in San Francisco that San Francisco is back, and you are making that happen. And being here and seeing this magnificent building, and Sophie, congratulations on what you got started, and Enrique, your fabulous work here. Is exactly what we need to be doing. We need to be building a lot more housing all throughout California, housing that is affordable, housing that meets the needs of families up and down the state of California, indeed all over the country, working families, middle-income housing, low-income housing. We need it all. Right now, all that pencils out in too many parts of California is luxury housing, and that is not enough. We need another housing boom in America. In the same way that after World War II, we built millions of new homes for returning GIs at an affordable price, we need to do that again, and we can. There's nothing preventing us from making the same kind of massive investment in building new homes, millions of new homes throughout the country every year. Hundreds of thousands of new homes are necessary in California. And so we need to put this at the top of the priority list. Everyone is focused on affordability, and we should be. the affordability of healthcare, the affordability of energy, but central to this is the affordability of housing. When I was a kid, my father was in the clothing business. He was essentially a traveling salesman. He made $18,000 a year. On the strength of that single income of $18,000, my parents bought our first home for $18,000. You could buy a home for the annual income of a clothing salesman. Imagine what that would buy you today. And you get a scope of the problem. Or looked at another way, when I was born, the average age of a home buyer was 23 years old. 23. Today it is 40 years old. And this is one of the preeminent challenges we have, and that is the economy is simply not working for millions of people. And unlike during the Great Recession or the Great Depression, the problem today is not that people are unemployed. Unemployment is still relatively low, although it is creeping upwards. The problem today is that people are working, and they still can't afford to get by. They still can't afford a place to live. So many families are rent burdened or housing burdened or mortgage burdened in the state of California. More than 30% of our residents spend more than 30% of their income on housing. And there's no way to solve that problem unless we're building a lot more housing. I'm very proud to be introducing the Housing Boom Act. This is legislation that would make a massive new investment in building affordable homes for middle income and lower income families, to make it possible for young people to own a home or be able to pay their rent. It would make the largest expansion of the low-income housing tax credit ever. It would triple the size of the low-income housing tax credit. But also, importantly, it would invest a substantial amount in building workforce housing, just like this, middle-income housing, for the people who build the housing. And thank you for the presence of labor and all the work that our building construction trades do to make housing like this possible. We want our police officers, our firefighters, our teachers, our construction workers, and more to be able to live in the communities they serve. And so this bill will massively increase the federal incentives to build housing that people can afford. It'll provide new revenue sources, new means of making it possible. As Enrique will tell you, they had to explore all kinds of different creative ways to make this happen. It was a difficult, cumbersome process. Thank God they persevered. But it shouldn't be that hard. And it can't be that hard if we're going to meet the demand of people in California and all over the country. So this Housing Boom Act is a powerful statement. I hope and believe that we need not incremental change here. We need massive investment in new housing. We need another housing boom in America. And with that, it's my pleasure to invite Enrique Landa, the managing partner at Fifth Space, to talk about this magnificent work that he's done and what's necessary to do it elsewhere. I'm very grateful for Congresswoman Lateefah Simon, who was not able to join us this morning, but I'll be seeing later this afternoon, for her partnership on this legislation. And Enrique, let me turn it over to you.
Thank you, Senator. I will be brief, but the result of what happened here, that we're sitting on a building that is the first privately financed workforce housing project that has been built in the city in a very long time, is because of a tool that got put out in 2008 during the Great Recession, and the Obama administration put out a rule to be able to use municipal debt to be able to be recycled to build buildings like this. It took 17 years to use that tool. This building is the result of the first time it's been used in California, and now other states are doing it, and it's being used now in Southern California. And it was a very hard process. It took us 5 banks, 6 law firms, 3 consulting firms, a nonprofit, you name it. But it was the willingness to prove that we need to build housing for everybody to get cities to work. And if we take the kind of effort that Senator is doing today to put new tools in developers' hands, who knows when it'll happen, but if we keep pushing, these things will become more real. Today, living in this building is the manager of a restaurant that's been here for 30 years, who's commuted 90 minutes a day for the past 15 years, and now she has a home right in the neighborhood. There's somebody else who is in supportive housing in and out and has a job, makes $55,000 a year, just moved in, and they work right there. So these are the kinds of things that we are going to need to do to be able to keep this moving. We need new tools to be able to do it. I appreciate the senator's push for this. Housing and affordability is now a nationwide issue. It's not just a coastal issue, and I'm glad that we're pushing ahead. Now I want to introduce Sophie Maxwell, who had the vision to help close this power plant and bring something much better of a use that went from power plant to housing in 15 years.
Thank you. Well, folks, you heard it here first in San Francisco. A new California housing boom. What could be better than that? What could be better than that? This is what we need to build cities. Why are our schools struggling? Because there's no kids in them. We need people in our cities. We need every kind of people in our cities. My mother and grandmother bought a house. My grandmother was a laundry worker. My mother was a housekeeper. They bought 2 flats. And they said they bought the flats because they needed help paying the mortgage. But they bought it. They did it. They invested in San Francisco. And now I will forever be in the annals of our city. From those 2 people, those women. That's what cities are about. That's what this boom is about. It's about making our people work. I was looking at the news, and I was going by, and people were so excited because they were building a new enclosure for these bears. And we'll call the bears Muhammad and Ali. And they were building this housing unit, and they were so excited, and they talked about what did they want the bears to feel like when they walked into this enclosure? What did they want them to see? And so they built this big tower so the bears could climb up and preview all that was around them. And then they built little cubbies because bears like that. And they said, and in a couple of weeks we'll be back so you can see the bears coming in to their new homes. Well, that's what we want. We want to build for people so when they come in, they feel a sense of home. They feel warmth. And I want to call it affordable luxury because it should be beautiful. People who come home from work, they need a beautiful surrounding. Their kids need to come home to a warm, spacious, good place. And we can do it. And we will do it. So I want to thank the senator. And I want to thank Representative Lateefah Simon for their work because this is going to happen. And we're all going to get behind it. Thank you. And you heard it first here in San Francisco.
We'd be happy to respond to any of your questions. Mayor, it can't be that shy a crowd here in San Francisco.
Do you have
Yes.
any buy-in across the aisle on this legislation?
The question, do we have any buy-in across the aisle? Not yet. I certainly hope that we will get bipartisan support for a massive investment in new housing like this bill. But what it will come down to, frankly, is whether Republicans are serious about building new housing, whether they're serious about bringing down the cost of housing. If they're not, then they won't have much interest. But I think as we have seen in the health care debate, that as Democrats have pushed bringing down the cost of health care, Republicans have found it necessary to respond. And I hope that this bill will prompt my Republican friends to understand that the affordability problem that is confronting families confronts them first and foremost right where they live. And there's no dealing with the high cost of living. There's no meeting the promises the president made during his campaign unless we're building a lot more housing. I was fascinated to see during the meeting that the mayor of New York had with the president that they seemed to agree at least on one thing, and that was the need to build a lot more housing. So there should be some room for bipartisan work on this. If it's going to be successful, there just has to be. Kind of spooks other Republicans from jumping on board? Well, first of all, the president downplaying the seriousness of the affordability crisis or calling it a con or his other derogatory remarks about the struggles people are facing just shows how out of touch he is with what regular families are confronting. Will that influence Republicans? Actually, no, I don't think so. What will influence Republicans is the degree to which they just got obliterated during the elections we had 3 weeks ago on this very issue. if Republicans don't get serious about working with Democrats on bringing down the cost of living, they're going to see more elections like the one we just had. So I don't think the president's obliviousness is going to impact the people I serve. I think they understand the problem. Now, whether they're going to be willing to do what's necessary to fix it, that's a big question. I haven't seen that yet.
How many units are in this building, and what's like the cap of income for families or an individual to move in?
Sure, let me hand that to Enrique.
It's 105 units, and it's for families making between 50 and 110% of the average median income. So it's for between 55,000 and roughly 113,000. These are not easy to build. It's one of the few buildings that have been entirely done.
And along those lines, to help create more buildings like this in the Housing Boom Act, we've devoted a total of $15 billion to loans and grants to make housing like this possible. So this is exactly the kind of housing that we want to prioritize. We want to provide a new funding stream. It's still going to be necessary, I'm sure, to use all of the other creative measures that Enrique and his team did to make this possible, and the mayor. But hopefully this will provide new tools to build exactly this kind of housing and new homes.
Mayor Lurie, why are you against the redevelopment project at the Safeway Marina location?
Listen, that project, we've been in talks with the developer. It is one of the reasons we passed the family zoning plan was to make sure that we build along transit corridors and making sure to take care of our neighborhoods as well. And that's just a developer playing a game because that won't be possible once our family zoning plan goes into practice. We'll work with anybody to do the right kind of building, and that one is just not in line with what we're doing here in San Francisco.
Any other questions?
All right. Senator, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'll let you close it out.
Mayor, thank you very much for all your leadership on housing, and I know how challenging it is to move the ball here, but you really have, and I'm so grateful. I think we all are. And Sophie, what a magnificent legacy you have built. How wonderful to be literally standing on something you made possible. And to see what was here before, and I love how the smokestack remains as a reminder of the past, but truly an extraordinary accomplishment. Thank you, and Enrique, thank you and your whole team for what you do every day, and look forward to seeing the progress continue. Thanks, everyone.